Oh, here we go. There's some information over there, son. Say hiya to my subs. So, how strange was it, Jed? The guy at the last place at the Govan Stones was saying that we should visit Inchinnan. And then I got an email about 10 minutes later saying the stones at Inchinnan. So, we're here. I feel like there's synchronicity going on here. We had to come. But here are the Templar stones. I think these have been moved because of the airport being built. They had to move them. But apparently these were Knights Templar grave covers. There's not much detail left on them, I've got to say. Templar stones, digital documentation. So here they've scanned them. You can see and they managed to get the detail back. That's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
It looks blank, but you can see These 10 gravestones are thought to date from the 12th to the 17th centuries and are an important part of Inchinnan's history. The stones with rigid tops may have been Knights Templar stones. All stones have decorations and/or inscriptions which are generally not visible to the naked eye. To make these carvings visible, two different digital documentation techniques were used. Firstly, photogrammetry was used to capture the shape of the stones. In this case, the colour of the biological growth makes it harder to see the decorations, but by deactivating it, the different carvings of swords, crosses and inscriptions can now be seen. So here, you look at a stone, you can, well, mind you, you can see the 6 there. This has been reused, obviously, 1663, I think. Model of one of the Templar stones with photographed texture, without texture, and with the carvings highlighted. The cross and the date 1663 can be seen among the carvings. It might be an original. There's the old, these crosses. I've been doing a bit of research into these crosses. Secondly, RTI, reflective transformation imaging, was used. RTI is a multi-image technique that provides very detailed information on the surface of the material. RTI files allow the user to explore the surface of the material virtually with different lighting conditions. In this case, a virtual RTI was created from the photogrammetric models, and to do that, a digital dome made up of 93 lights was placed over the 3D models, then creating an image for every light. These images were processed using an RTI builder, which in turn produced an RTI file for each one of these stones. This is made possible to obtain information about the stones, decorations that can also complement the photogrammetry itself. This new digital documentation produced by Spectrum Heritage has been studied by Megan Castad and Dr. Sally Foster. The researchers have identified one of the stones, Inchinnan 5, figure 6, as an older reused stone, a previously unrecognised example of the Govan School of early medieval sculpture, which we were just at. We're just at the Govan Stones. So Inchinnan stones. Inchinnan was an early Celtic foundation dedicated to St Conval, an Irish saint of the 5th or 6th century. It is likely that it served as the mother church for the area known as Strathgrife. The stones, which belonged to the Govan School of Medieval Sculpture, were moved to their present position in 1965 when the site of the church was incorporated into Glasgow Airport. The earliest and most important of the 3 stones have been placed at the centre of the group. It is probably a shrine or sarcophagus cover. The enshrined relics may have been those of St Conval. His relics were venerated in the 16th century. In Haley Man of Scotland, so that means a holy man of Scotland of great fame, that salmon time hit Cornwallis by name. Disciple. How you doing, Annie? Nice to see you. St Mungo, and at Inchinnan Scott Gate bequests Glasgow. His body lies where I myself. He's been in pilgrimage and his relics he's seen. The stones date, these ones, The stones date from the 9th to the 11th century when Dumbarton Rock and Inchinnan and Govan were all places of burial for the elite and the royalty of the Kingdom of Strathclyde. My back. Bone. It must be like an animal bone, surely. So this is where we are, Inchinnan. We were just there in Govan, now we're at Inchinnan. Another Govan stone discovered in 2017, interpreting digital photographs of the 10 ancient stones located at the south side of the church. Megan Caston discovered that the stone at position 7 was carved much earlier than was originally thought. So this one here. It possibly commemorated an important person in the Kingdom of Strathclyde. This discovery means that Inchinnan now has 4 carved stones from the Govan school. So we'll have a look at these here. So these are supposedly Knights Templar ones. Very little detail. These are amazing, these images, these photogrammatic, or whatever it is. See some stuff here. See a C, a D. So is this the older one, I think? That one's got a line in the edge. You can possibly see a sword in this one here. And there's one with the cavalry cross. This is a cavalry cross. This is what I've been researching lately. They've usually got this sort of step base, and they're usually rounded as well, like a wheel at the top. This is almost like the coped stone. So I'm staying with the theme, guys, the coped stonework. Is that wood or stone or what? God knows. Hard to see any kind of markings, to be honest with you. It's got a ridge right down the middle. Along with this one, it's got the ridge along the bottom. Cheer up, Annie. It's South Africa. You need to get out of South Africa. It's a dump. Is it like a maze? Oh, it could be a maze actually.
I walked across the whole thing.
Did you? Me cheating.
I'm not cheating. I'm cutting corners. I already made it.
It's quite skillful. I don't even think the grass has been cut, has it? Has it just been flattened?
Sure.
I think it's just been flattened. I don't think the grass has actually been cut. I was going to say it's skillful grass cutting technique there. Jesus. It's a long way to walk for a wee space. I don't know where the other stones are, son. I don't know if they're in the area or what. Or if they're in the old church. like definitive gaze mentioned. Oh, here we are. We're now in the centre. Centre circle. What was that?
That's what we're actually.
Is that where they are?
Those ones are there, but the ones at the front are behind that cage. But it's because they're more historically important.
Are they the Celtic ones, eh?
Yeah, they reckon between round about 10th century, and they reckon it was because Dublin was the capital of Strathclyde,
Aye.
and there's a big stones in Dublin Old Church.
Right.
But they reckon it's the same folk.
That's where we've just came from. Govan. Staines.
Okay, well, they reckon it's the same folk that done them because the church used to be down near Basco Bridge.
Aha.
But it had to get knocked down because of the
Airport.
so they brought up some of the stuff that was lying about.
Right.
The church dates back to about 597
Really?
because it was the first church in this area.
Aye.
So that's why we've got all those bits.
So it's round the other ones are round the other side.
Just beside the church name Beltiller.
Thank you. Cool. We're going to see the other stones. Are they real? Nice flowers for this time of the year. So she says they're near the bell tower. Cheer up, Annie. It's not the end of the world. It's because winter's coming in as well. You know, well, it's probably summer in South. But what time of year is it in South Africa? It's probably becoming summer, eh? It's a big bell tower here. Oh, look at these. Pretty cool, eh? But they do look like the same. Look at the animals on the side of that one, son.
What?
Is that horses?
Inchinnan stone number 1.
Oh, you got information there?
Type sandstone. Recumbent.
Recumbent.
Recumbent slab with a long shafted cross surrounded by an interlace similar to several of the grave slabs at Govan. Some edge damage on top left corner missing. This is a slightly tapered rectangular slab carved in relief only on the upper surface. Within a plain flat band border there is the upper part of the slab. A plain outline cross with an inner incised
Aye, incised line and
Line.
sunken armpits.
cross arms extend out to the frame and spaces between the upper arms, and on either side of the shaft are filled with heavy double beaded interlace. Date 9th to 11th century.
So the hollowed out armpits they're talking about is these parts here. The cross.
Aye.
See these circle?
Yeah.
They're quite unique. This one's amazing with the animals and stuff.
Straight into a spider web.
Did you? Cool. Inchinnan stones digital documentation. Photogrammetry is a technique that makes it possible to create 3D metric models of an object or structure based on photographs. To capture the stones from Inchinnan, the walk-around method was chosen, a practice whereby a digital heritage specialist moves the camera, which is mounted on a tripod, around the object to capture all the accessible areas around it. Along with the photographs of the stones, other data such as measurements and colour were also captured. The resultant photographs were then processed to make the colour as close to reality as possible. Afterwards, using photogrammetry software, the different photographs were aligned to create a point cloud. This can be seen in image 1. Image 2 shows a close-up of the next stage. The points are then joined, forming triangles that make up the shape of the object. This is called a mesh. This mesh is then texturized using the same photographs. Look at the animals on the side of that one. It's amazing. Like horses. See this one, so it's almost like Noah's Ark or something, with the animals on it. It's like the infinity sign here. See that, son? The figure 8. It's almost like the infinity badge symbol. Inchinnan stone number 3, recumbent cross slab or shrine cover. This slab is carved in relief on the upper face and all 4 narrow faces. The underside is plain. There is semicircular projection at each corner and broad flatbed mouldings along the edges, which are plain except for the moulding at the head, which is carved with 2 twisted cords, and that at the foot, which bears a coiled serpent. There are traces of carving on the tops of the projections. The upper face is carved with a central relief cross with rounded armpits, with a moulding below the arms and a wide plain band below the moulding. A single twist separates the ends of the arms from the border, and above the side arms on either side, the animals faces the cross. 2 larger animals confront one another above the cross. Below the central plain band there is an interlaced knot flanking the base of the cross shaft. Below the shaft another pair of large confronted animals, and below that another pair with gaping jaws on either side of a central figure. It's almost like Noah's Ark with all the animals all over it. It reminds me of that. Central figure could be Noah. The right side has a single long panel with the animals progressing to the head end of the monument with a double knot at the left end. The 5 quadrupeds are set close together with one of its heads turned to look back and the central animal facing outwards. The other side contains 6 animals moving towards the head, with 2 facing back and 1 facing outwards. There is a long knot on the wider end and a single twist at the foot. The date, late 9th to 11th century. It's pretty darn cool. Let's see, I'll get a better view up here. Let's see the last one, which looks like a different kind of, it looks like the red sandstone. They're all sandstone. Sandstone was easier to carve. This portion of cross shaft is broken at the point where it narrows into the missing crosshead and it lacks its base. This almost rectangular fragment was carved in relief on all 4 main faces, although only the top and side faces survive. It tapers slightly towards the top, where there are shoulders sloping towards the crosshead. Each face has a cable moulded border and is divided into 3 panels of heavy interlaced patterns by broad plain bands. It seems likely that this stone has been reused as a recumbent grave slab, perhaps in the 17th century. Date, late 9th to 11th century. So these are 1,000 years old, roughly. 1,000 years old. Amazing. Wonder what that is. That looks like something for a coffin, eh? Carry the coffin. Maybe that's what they used to carry these stones here. Aye. They used that to carry the slabs here. This foundation stone was laid by the Honourable Lord Strachan, Senator of the College of Justice, 19th of November 1966. Some Greek at the bottom. Aye, they reckon these were grave slabs. This was a cross. This one here was a cross. So this would have stood up on a stone. It would have been put on a base. And you find these bases sometimes with the holes in them. And they were like plugs for, like sockets, they call them, for crosses. I used to think they were troughs or something like that. And the stones with the hollowed out inside it, they almost look like a trough. they reckon that these stone crosses sat in them, and so it was like a base for them.
There's a list.
That'll be a war memorial. Is it no? Incumbents of Inchinnan since the Reformation. It's maybe who's buried here. Near this place are deposited the mortal remains of those who died by Seven, the cure of this parish. Maybe all the old reverence it is. It's the old reverence that served the church. Let's see some of the surnames. Jackson, Knox, Peebles, Bernard Pebbles. That's where Peebles apparently comes from, this word, Peebles.
I thought it said Peebles.
Gabriel Maxwell, Thomas Law, James Wallace, Finlay, Stewart, Wallace, Stirling, Macaulay, Crawford, Maxwell, Smith. The Crawfords and the Wallaces are kind of connected. Davidson, Burns, Hardy, Richardson, Lockhart, Gillen, Moderator of General Assembly, McClelland. Look at Stewart there. Look at the way that's spelt. Stewart. Sawyer, McBurney, John McBurney. I used to work with a guy called John McBurney.
Aye.
McBurney. Old John McBurney, you big streaky pish. Used to call me a big streaky pish. Right. Miller, Galbraith, Mathers, Donaghy, Marshall Mathers, Eminem.
Leslie Donahue.
All flesh as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass. The grass withereth, and the flower thereof falleth away. But the word of the Lord endureth forever. And this is the word by which the gospel is preached unto you. And there's a couple more that's been added on. Later ones, 2011. McLean and McBriar.
Funny how the last three are women, They look like women.
Aye. They started taking on women as reverence recently. Take some breathing space. Sometimes our thoughts and feelings, this is for Annie. This is for Annie out there in South Africa. Take some breathing space. Sometimes our thoughts and feelings overwhelm us. It helps to get some breathing space. Being listened to and knowing that someone cares can help you through a difficult time. Donated by Zumba Inchinnan. Do some Zumba. It's quite a big church though, I've got to say. I didn't like this Harlan. This Harlan reminds me just like council buildings. Kind of this pebble dash where they cover the stone in cement and they just throw stones on it. I didn't like church. What was that?
Not very nice.
It's quite an ugly church. There's an old church, old Inchinnan. That's where they moved. I think it's in the airport now. That's what they're saying. Or on the grounds of the airport, the old church. And they moved these stones from the old church to this one.
The one that we were at before. That must be for the actual painter.
That's. See if you're on the inside, you see the details better in the glass. It's just because you're behind it, you can't see it as well. But that's lead in between in the glass. So you see the white bits. That's lead holding the glass together. There's not very much here though, apart from these stains. There's no graveyard or anything like that. Mind you, the church itself looks, the windows and stuff look old. It's weird, it's like old windows that have been put in a modern building.
I wonder if they put Harlem over the old building. Look, there's like remnants of something that looks like, maybe. Maybe that's
Look at the roof though as well. Nah, it's... Liking graveyards doesn't make you a freak, because I love graveyards. They're dead peaceful. It's a dad joke, son. Get used to it. I'm your father. I'm your father. Get used to the dad jokes.
No dad jokes allowed.
What's that? That's a wee vent. That was really nice of the women to alert us to that, because I thought maybe they were taken inside. Taken inside, sorry. Now we're back round to the Templar stone side. It's funny how the older stones around there are much better detail than these later Templar ones. You wonder if they got the dates right. There's another cavalry cross. I can sort of make it there. See the base of it there? This sort of step base. And then the cross at the top. See here the arm there, the arm there. And that's the one with the 16. You can actually make it the 1663. IRA. Inchinnan Guild. Talking about Jewish graves, Annie's dad's buried in a Jewish grave, South Africa. I was going to maybe show them your book as we're going to the car. So guys, I'm going back to Dalmeny Church tomorrow. I'm going to try and get inside the church. I think it opens for a couple of hours on a Sunday. So tomorrow I'll be at Dalmeny, the one I was at yesterday, but I'm going to make a obviously more detailed video. I'll show you what Jed, my son, bought. For how much? How much was it?
20p.
20p. 20p.
20
Who says gift shops are expensive? Right there, I'll need to unlock my car. We'll keep it inside so it doesn't get in the rain. Look what my son bought, Annie. See the spine? The Jerusalem Bible. Open it up. 20p. We've got Genesis there. These are the best stories, man. Winged insects. Revolt against the Philistines. Samuel breaks with Saul. The ark brought to the temple.
Of Yahweh.
Solomon prayer for himself.
Isn't that what Jesus was meant to like be or something?
I think it's God. God, Yahweh.
Isn't that like the Jewish name for God or something?
Yep. The Ark in the Citadel of David. That's quite a cool book, son.
Aye.
If you didn't read it, I'll read it. Anyway, people, I will see you tomorrow when I make my video at Dalmeny. Join me. We'll be inside the church, and it's one of the best, apparently Norman style churches, but I don't know. It's just that they like to class everything Norman, eh? And it's funny because the guy that built Dalmeny was called Gospatrick, and he was actually escaping the Normans. He escaped up to the Lothians from the Normans and built that church, but it's a Norman church. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow